everyone, and welcome to this glorious spring day in Central Virginia. How can you tell when it's time to start your warm season crops? I'm talking particularly cucumbers and squash, summer squash, like zucchini and yellow squash, things like that. Well, it's tempting when the days get warm to just get those seeds in right away, but you got to make sure that your soil is warm enough. The first thing you need to do is really check your long-term forecast. Right now, today it's a little bit chilly. We've had a couple of chillier days, but it's going to go back up into the 70s and 80s really for the next at least 10 days. It looks like our nights are not going to be below 55, about 50 maybe at the lowest, and our days are going to be as high as the high 80s, which is unusual for here. Our last frost date, average last frost date, which is not a guarantee, it's just an average, is April 20th here in Central Virginia. And that's only about a week away. And so I am still not going to plant seeds outdoors quite yet. What I am going to do, I'm going to do two things, however. Today I'm going to start some indoor plants. They grow really quickly, and at a minimum, they'll be ready to go out into the garden in about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3, though you want to get them into the garden pretty quickly. Then once I'm going to do another thing today, and that is I'm going to uncover the soil where some of my summer squash and cucumbers are going to be planted. I'm doing that because they've been under a heavy hay mulch all season, all winter, and that mulch keeps the cool in. And I've got a few days of very hot, sunny weather coming up. So if I uncover that mulch, then that's going to bring the sun down to warm that soil. And so whether or not I direct seed some seeds into that space or transplant in, that soil is going to be nice and warm, and those cucumbers and squash are going to be much, much happier. So today I'm actually sowing just one or two of each of my cucumber varieties that I'm growing this year, and a couple of my summer squash varieties. I love growing summer squash because it matures so fast. So if you can get it going in the second week of April, get it into the ground, you're going to have squash by the end of May, which is really, really nice. I'm planting 3 varieties of squash, summer squash, today, and the first is one that I have tried before, and that is Costata Romanesca, which is a wonderful, wonderful old style Italian summer squash. I like it because it's kind of ribbed, and it's a little bit more substantive than a zucchini. To me, it's not quite as watery inside. Something new for me this year is Coccozelli Italian, and I think it's pretty similar to the Costata Romanesca squash. And of course, early prolific straight neck, which is the classic yellow summer squash. This one will be the one that comes in first. Now these seeds are from 2023, but I fully expect them to germinate with no problem. The larger seeds like squash and cucumbers tend to stick around for a good bit of time. My Cozzelli are new, and the Costata Romanesca are from what? From 2024. So they should all be okay. I'm going to be starting 4 kinds of cucumbers indoors. I'll be planting cucumbers throughout the season, kind of in a rotation and in different spots. Now, a new one for me, but not a new one for most people because it's sort of a classic cucumber, is Market More. That's new for me. Another new one for me this year is called Shintokiwa, and that is an Asian style cucumber. Another new one for me this year, I'm being very adventuresome with my varieties this year, is a white heron cucumber. So those are my new ones, and of course I have to plant my Soyulongs that I totally love. So we'll plant these ones for starting indoors. Now here's the thing, as soon as they sprout, as soon as I get germination and the plants pop up, as long as the weather is warm, I'm going to put them straight outside. I'm not going to transplant them yet, but I'm going to let them get exposed to the sunlight right away. Now, why would I do such a thing? Well, you generally have to harden off your plants once they're your seedlings. But if you put them in the sun, direct sun, right away, those first leaves, not the true leaves, but the first leaves, have enough sun protection that they can withstand that harsh ultraviolet light. And you don't need to harden them off. So what I'll do, if the weather is good in the next few days as these pop up, these should only take about 3 or 4 days to sprout. I will just put them outside during the day, bring them in if the nights are cooler. And then after about 2 weeks, once they're up, I'll transplant them outdoors. Now, when you're growing plants like squash and cucumbers, those are large seedlings. They get large root systems, and you really don't want to have them growing indoors in pots for too long. But nonetheless, I'm going to plant them in fairly sizable pots. These are good, like 3 inches square and 3 inches deep, which will do fine for them for just a few weeks. If I were truly going to keep them in for any longer, I would grow them in a bigger pot like this. No use putting them in anything smaller than this. As always, I have labeled my containers first. And as always, I have put boiling water into my seed starting mix and let it cool to kill off any fungus gnat eggs that might be in there. So first, you just want to do your normal thing. Now, I will tell you that this soil has been sitting on my back porch and it is a little bit cool. So you know what I'm going to do? When I take these indoors, I'm actually going to put them on a heat mat. And that's going to help warm up the soil and make them, I think, happier campers. Don't underestimate the importance of soil temperature. Now, normally, if this soil had been sitting inside, I would not put them on a heat mat, but I don't want these I want to get these seeds off to a nice early fast start. These are warm weather crops and they want the soil warm. Cocozelli, straight neck. That's not it. All right. I'm just going to put 2 of these seeds in, and one of the I will end up taking out the smaller of the 2 because this container is too small for 2 squash plants. These are the Cocozelli Italian. That's why it's important to label. Everything looks alike at this point. These you want to plant relatively deeply. The prolific straight neck. These will be my first squash to come in. It will be really interesting if I do end up planting out some seeds in the direct seed them in the next couple weeks as well. It will be really interesting to see which grow faster and if there's any difference in their rate of growth and germination as well. That's all good. This soil is plenty wet, and so I'm not even going to moisten it any further. Here come the cucumbers. Market more right here in Shintokiwa. Same drill. Market more. Cucumber seeds are a little bit smaller than squash seeds, but I'm still just going to put 2 plants per cell. If both germinate, I'll take out the lesser of the 2 or transplant it. So I will also put on a heat mat since the soil has been sitting out on my porch and it got cold the last couple of nights. All right, so here I am down in my main garden, and I am going to determine where I'm going to plant these, and I'm going to uncover the soil. And meaning I'm going to take the mulch off of my soil. All right, I think I'm going to be planting some by this arch here. I'll plant a couple of my cucumbers in there. I'll just uncover the soil here. I got any seeds I see coming up. Yeah, when I dig my finger down in here, I can see that it's a little bit chilly. So you know what? I will definitely want to warm this up for planting. Now this is the bed. The main part of this bed here is going to be tomatoes, but it's going to be my sauce patch. But I think at this end this year, I'm going to put in a couple of squash plants. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the mulch off here. Here's a weed, wild onion. This soil's a little bit more. Yeah, I could actually probably plant right in there right now, but I'm gonna let it warm up a little. So I have one coming up right on this side, and we'll put one over there. Here's an area where I'm gonna be putting in, I have my cucumber trellis up here, and I'll be putting in a few plants here. Well, hopefully these measures will pay off. I have put my seedlings that I'm going to do inside. They are inside on my grow rack, on under lights, and on a heating pad to warm up that soil that was outside. The soil actually, I'm surprised out here, is beginning to warm. You know, we had those cold nights, but it seems not to have impacted it too much. Nonetheless, warm soil at this point in the year is going to be way better for these early cucumber and squash starts. You know, but as the season goes on, I'll be putting mulch around the growing plants because it gets very hot here as well. Cucumbers and squash like it hot, but just like human beings, when it gets over 90 degrees, they're not necessarily the happiest campers. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope your garden's doing well, and I hope you're well. Till next time, take care. Bye. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed, do so. Please like and share, and please, most of all, leave a comment. All of those things help me grow my channel, and that way I can bring more to you. Thanks.